Hi everyone, it's Annie from Phoenix Healing. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. As we're still in the month of June, I wanted to do a little video about one of the services that I offer, especially because June is a 6 month, and that is the Lover's card in Major Arcana. It is connected to Venus, the planet of love, and also because June is one of the most popular wedding months. I will say though that when I calculate the blueprint for a couple to find the best wedding date, I, yes, that is part of it, looking at the month and the collective month energy. However, there's more to it. I look at the world year, I look at the world month number, I look at the couple's personal years, I look at the personal months, and then I go from there, and that helps me to determine going into the best month to find a wedding date. Of course, some couples already have in mind like a particular year or a particular date or a few dates that they'd like, that they're thinking of. You can always check that as well and, verify if those are good choices or not. And I have done that. And of course, then those dates didn't work out. And so then being able to do the blueprint, having the blueprint done, you're able to have a full analysis done, completely personalized for the couple, like to be able to figure out the best wedding dates. Of course, you want to make sure that you start off on the right foot, having the best energy surround you. Obviously, these um, blueprints, they're not psychic readings. They're here to help a couple really start their life together as a couple on the right path, and surrounding with the best loving and supportive energy for a couple and the partnership. And you want to make sure you stay away from certain numbers. As I said before in several videos, the clear numbers that I always stay away from, especially when it comes to the weddings, like finding the best wedding date for a couple, five nines and the karmic debt numbers. So immediately May and September are already taken off of potential lists. Staying away from 5 years and 9 years, like whether it's the world year or personal years. I will say that very often people can find themselves engaged in a 5 year, and that's fine because five, obviously, on a high vibration can be a romantic energy, but I would never get married in a 5 year. I would never get married in a 5 month, or 5 day, anything to do with the five and the nines, because there's always something that happens. And honestly, there is one date in particular that I've seen time and time again that the energies of these numbers are applicable to the marriage and what has happened to it to cause the demise of the marriage. May 22nd. Stay the hell away from May 22nd. If that date is even significant to a couple's timeline, I would say, as a numerologist for over 25 years, I would not have high hopes of that relationship lasting. That is an omen. I do feel like that is a bad omen, because not only is it a 5 month, but with the when you how I would calculate, there's also the nine energy in there as well. You'd think like 22, like, okay, like that's a great number, like master builder, 22/4, like you can build something together. Yeah, but when you add the month to it too, which is the five, you get the nine, and nines and fours are challenges to each other. And so that like twos and nines get along, but if you want the foundation, it cancels out that foundation. And I've seen this time and time again, whether it was, a wedding date for somebody, or it was, that date was for, that was a significant part of a timeline, of a relationship, significant date for a relationship. It always ends, which is part of the nine energy, and there's always some sort of infidelity, or like some type of high risk behavior. But I've generally, without fail, I've always seen May 22nd, the relationship ends and there's always infidelity involved. Just saying it. So stay the hell away from May 22nd. Um, And also, I wanted to say that too, because when I go online, you see these videos, there's, wedding photographers, wedding venues, bridal shops saying certain dates are really good and they will have that date in there. And it's like, oh, it's so cringeworthy because it's like, no, that's not a good date. And also because every date is different for a couple. What one date worked for one couple doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for another couple. Like, we all have different energies to us. We all have different number energies to us, and we want to make sure we find the most compatible match. And it is very significant, especially with a couple, if they have certain energies, like vibes that they want to bring to the wedding. I can look around, when I'm doing when I'm calculating everything to see what's going to be the best match, like the energies that are going to be alignment to the couple and what they want for their day. And it's really just staying away from oh, I really want to get married in this month. I really want to get married in this season. The temperature is great then. I really like this date. But you want to make sure the energies align because you don't want to start off on the wrong foot. Even something to look into too, the wedding venue. People can often forget the wedding venue. I've known so many people too that get married in a wedding venue and it was a 5 or 9. And again, what happened? Either there was infidelity involved and, especially even a 9, right? Yeah. A marriage ended, and obviously, yeah, sometimes there was infidelity involved there as well. So, there's just clear energies that bring not so great things into marriage life, right? Because it's a wedding date, which like begins the marriage life. You don't want any of these numbers, the not so great numbers, affiliated with your wedding date. Like there's just so many different things to look at instead of just like, I really want to get married in the warmer months. I really love fall. I really love summer. Like there's just so many things, and people don't always think of it because you want to make sure everything's in alignment. Because if I see a year that's not so great, for a couple, I'm going to suggest another year because there have been a couple times where I've done these blueprint readings and the couple really wanted a certain year, but it's not looking great. They're like, it's not like nothing's in alignment there, and it has to get pushed back. And it is what it is, but it's just setting off, like setting your marriage life on the right foot and having the right energies for you. I know 2027, it's the world year of 11/2, 2 being a love number, and also with 11 being one of the master numbers, like a spiritual number, a spiritual messenger, very psychic energy, very spiritual energy. And I feel obviously it's going to be a year collectively. It represents to love and also divine love, spiritual love, like partnerships, like a coupling that was meant to be, that's supposed to be together, because that energy really supports it. Again, obviously numerology, they're not psychic readings, none, but it helps give you that awareness that some stuff can happen. And also what energies are involved, whether they're good or bad. So I feel like 2027 is going to be like a popular year for people getting married because it just represents the full love and partnership and just union together. And it's a beautiful, beautiful year for that. Um, with that said, though, of course, like I said, everyone has different energy to it. There's just a lot of things, a lot of layers to break down when I'm trying to find the best wedding date for a couple. It's very significant because you want to, like, there are things that happen in life that we can't control, but at least we can try to start off the like married life on the right foot and making sure like the best energy fits for a couple, because you want to make sure things are compatible and aligned. It doesn't have to be a natural match. It just has to be compatible. It's just when I start seeing challenges and things, and again, like I said, if I see 5 9s and the karmic debt numbers come up, I, immediately cross that out, that month out when I'm doing my analysis of everything, when I'm analyzing everything, writing everything out, because I'm doing it manually. I calculate and do everything, and I'm writing everything out. You know, what works and what doesn't. And then it's of course providing then the best options for a couple. Some couples, will give me free reign, right? They'll be like, this is the year we're thinking of, like, we don't care what day or, or anything or what month, just what are the best options for us. And then there are some couples that they're weekend couples, right? They want to get married not so much during the week, but on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So then a little bit more restricted, but trying to find in the year what are the best options. And sometimes, obviously, it's not an option they would have thought of before, but then it becomes more aligned. It like fits them better. So, you get led to where you need to get led to because what your idea thought, like, oh, this would be the best date, turns out to be like maybe not the greatest stepping stone foundation for married life. Other times too, even afterwards, like I just even recently did like helped out another person, another client with information because they were curious. They were trying to figure out, obviously it was years later after their marriage ended, and they were just curious, like, wondering what the energy surrounded that because it was such a shit show after they got married. And turns out she was in a personal year of five when they got married. They were she was in a personal month of five, and then the whole energy of the day broke down to nine. And even giving her this information, it was such a relief and clarity, like so much clarity was brought to her, and knowing like the energy, okay, the energy wasn't great to start with. And like you want the best energy to start with. You obviously don't, like, again, these are not psychic readings. We don't know where things are going to end up, but we can predict, we can help start off on the right path, right? Getting married life into a nice surrounding energy for a couple to become one. So with that said, if you are interested in learning more about choosing the best wedding date, blueprint, for you and your beloved, and finding out what the best dates to marry, I'm just wondering, what would be the great year or what date is most compatible, I invite you to go to my website, phoenixhealing.com. Under the numerology services, you will see the choosing the best wedding date blueprint, and it'll give you a little bit more description of what that is, and also just what it can do for you. Because honestly, married life, that is a big next chapter, big adventure of one's life, and just starting off in the right place, like, and just the right place, having that right date is everything. Because that again can help lead married life into, you know, uh, something peaceful, grounding, and safe, but also full of love. And just knowing too that, obviously, like, again, as I'm saying again and again, these are not psychic readings. They can't predict how the marriage goes, but at least, the wedding day and you're starting off married life will be on a positive note. And you'd rather have it start on a positive note than a negative note, because that's no bueno. That's no good. So, with that said, I hope this information has been helpful and insightful too, on knowing all these different things you need to think about when one's getting married, and if you're looking more for specific dates and things that are going to be, more personalized to you. Again, as I said, visit my website, phoenixhealing.com, to find out more. So, I hope everyone has a great rest of the day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.